When we say our vows, all I am, I give to you. All that I have, I share with you. It is everything.
Yeah. People say that marriage is hard. Some say it's easy, some say it's hard. What has been your journey like?
I think I remember coming home to Amanda and like, man, Amanda, this is what's going on at work. And of course, my wife being the Christian woman she is, do not bring those things in this house. We shall not have those things in this house.
Insignificantly help, for better, for worse. Sometimes you'll be thinking, for worse will come like, okay, 10 years, for worse, better.
Yeah.
In the thing like, immediately.
I remember one of those, I don't know whether I was sober. I don't know. If you want this thing to end, I don't blame you. Like, feel free.
The Bible says that's why a man will leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. I told him, by the way, you're not the one who brought me here.
Where are we going together? You know, and I really love that it's us.
Yeah.
Regardless. Some women now. They're like, hey, okay, now is the time.
It's important to choose very carefully, even in prayer.
I think theoretically, right? Especially like when you go with marriage counseling and everything, they tell you the money is yours.
You're like, yeah.
You're agreeing with it. Yeah. But I think in your mind you're thinking, that's because it's going to be me, right? Like it's our money, right?
That's why the Bible says two are better than one.
Honestly, for my take and from what I've experienced, man, if it were not for God, you know that when people say but God, as in honestly, I would put it there in my story, but God, because it could have gone in any direction, you know what I mean?
It's a journey. It's a journey. Actually, the moment you say your vows, you have started the journey of walking towards oneness.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have an amazing conversation with a couple that's going to be sharing on marriage, specifically on oneness in marriage. Now I know marriage can have its highs, its lows, it's like a roller coaster generally, but we're here to share it all and hopefully learn something about how we can stay united, how we can keep one together in marriage. So keep watching. This episode has been shot from Serene Beauty. Serene Beauty is a team of creative hair and makeup stylists ready to make your wedding day beautiful. Apart from ensuring that they enhance your beauty, they have bridal space in 5 apartments to accommodate their bridal teams so that the day is stress-free. Stay here with your bridesmaids, take pictures, have breakfast, and start the day right. You can check out their Instagram page and book your appointment today, or use the number on the screen and get ready to celebrate love just right with Serene Beauty. On set with me, I have the Mujungas. Welcome to the channel.
Thank you.
Banang, it's been long. I've been wanting you until the Lord said, this is the time. So welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
We're good.
We're fine.
Yes. Okay, so introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do, how long you've been married, children, everything.
All right. I'll let Amanda start us off.
My name is Amanda Mujunga. This is Mr. Mujunga.
Yeah.
We've been married close to 9 years. We make 9 years in October on the 29th. We have 3 children. 3. It's hard to say sometimes. There are many.
There are many. You're like, wait, how many?
We have 3. The first is going to be 8. The second is 6. And the last is going to be 2.
Amazing. What do you do?
Oh, what do we do? What do I do?
Yeah.
Professionally, I'm a medical doctor, a researcher, a budding epidemiologist.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Amazing.
Yes, my name is Edgar Mujunga, husband to Amanda Mujunga. Yes, as she said, we have been married for close to 9 years. We have 3 children. I am a businessman. I work in business. And but I'm a trained accountant by training. Yes. Yeah.
Amazing. So good to have you.
Thank you.
So let's break some ice. Woo-hoo. Are you a sweet tooth or a savory kind of person?
Savory, always.
Salt.
Savory.
What's your favorite
Although with
snack?
pregnancy, sweet came in, but my true self is savory.
What do you like?
anything that has really good salt and spice.
Mm.
Yeah, crisps. That league, food in that league. Yeah, sweet is
Okay.
not my thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Can I go with both? Because I am both.
You're both
Yes.
at the same level.
Yes, like I love
Really?
sweet. I love savory. I'm a foodie. So generally anything nice, anything good,
You will take it.
sweet, you got me.
Yeah.
Savory, I'm there.
Oh,
I love
that's nice.
spices. I love food.
Chocolates, what?
As in,
You're not.
let me tell you, like,
Okay. Funniest thing your partner has done to make you laugh.
Well, I think for me it's when we're dating,
Mm.
and I think he was trying to impress me,
Yeah.
and then
that's true.
so he said, showing me like
Wow.
on a random day, he said, actually, for you to keep fit, there are a lot of exercises you can do. You can do this, you can do that, you can do that, and as the exercises went forward, I felt like he was forging.
He was watching the
Yeah,
exercises.
because I was like, no, I've not seen this in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a bit strange, and I
Mm.
was so amused. It's a story I keep telling him and laugh about even up to today.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to get me even forge some gym moves.
That's nice.
Wow.
Edgar, for you?
Man, it's a bit grim. So I think she comes and tells me this story. I think by that time she was interning at the ward. And so she's telling me this story of how there's this patient who came, they were sick, they were like this, and and we had hope for them and everything, and they died. Like it was like the way she brought it out was like so unexpected. I was like, hold on, is that the story? Like I was like, hold on, like they must
That's
be
it.
like there's
nothing more.
yeah.
There's nothing more to add. They died.
It's the way she like presented it.
Yeah.
I thought there was hope in this story,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, with the straight face, they died.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what? It was not
Yeah.
funny, but funny. So
Yeah.
it was her storytelling
Yeah.
was quite unique there.
Has her storytelling continued like that over?
No, she's generally a funny person in
Yeah.
life. Well, I think of the two of us,
She's a funny
she's
one.
the funny one. Yeah, I tend to be more serious.
Really?
Though I also have
I
my.
don't know, you don't look
I
like
also
you're
don't think
serious.
so. Yeah.
And I think I'm serious. Like in my heart.
In your heart,
I
you're
think I'm
serious.
serious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, that's good. That's good. You've been married 8 years.
Yes.
Well done.
Going on 9. Going on 9.
Almost 10. Wow.
Mhm.
And I know, people say that marriage is hard. Some say it's easy, some say it's hard. What has been your journey like these 8 years?
I think it's both, like
Mm.
sweet and savory.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hard. It's good. Yeah, but I think it's people used to tell us marriage is what you make it, and I absolutely think it's true. It is actually what you make it. Depending on what you do, it can become extremely hard, or really good. Yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah, I agree. It's what you make it, indeed. Or we've had, I think personally, we've had those sweet moments, we've had those hard moments. So it's both. It's a journey. So as you walk along, there are things that are going to impact you that are going to be difficult, and there are things that are going to impact you that are simple. So it depends on the season you are within the marriage.
Okay. Have there been some unexpected things that just caught you by surprise, in this marriage thing? Because we go in, I do. Then you go in and, and then you're like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Can you just walk us through some of those stories that have, happened throughout the marriage?
Yeah, I think personally, or not personally, but really for the both of us, by the time we got married, of course you go into the marriage with your best expectations, right? You've over-romanticized the whole marriage idea. We're going to move in. We're going to start a family. We're going to do the whole shebang, right? And you are, of course, your heart's desire is for the best, yeah? So I think like now with us, our journey has been one of, I think we started on a high and immediately, poop, like we really, there was a huge, not an anticlimax, but a proper, And so I think when we got married, we, of course, are married, the wedding, everything was nice and everything. We come back from honeymoon and we're now beginning to live, this life. I had just been transferred to a new department in my work, the workplace I was in. And everything seemed like it was going well. But then I realized that in this new department I was in, it was not quite as I had thought it would be. It came with a lot of challenges, a lot of unexpected demands that required me to, first of all, work late at night, like throughout the night.
Yeah.
Come back, and so I had night shifts and day shifts. And not only that, it was also very, it was not a very clear-cut environment. I don't know how best to explain it other than the fact that there was a lot demanded on me on the side of cutting deals and cutting corners here and there. Yeah. So clients expected you to cut a bit of corners for them and things like that. And so it was really, it put pressure on me, a lot of pressure. And I think this is like about a week or two into now, we are now starting out our marriage. And I think I remember coming home to Amanda and like, man, Amanda, this is what's going on at work. And of course, my wife being the Christian woman she is, do not bring those things in this house. You shall not have those things in this house. No, I don't know how to hear it. I was in like a dilemma because, of course, being in church and everything, you always have the expectation that you're going to change the world, you're going to be the difference, and all these things, and perhaps not. When reality hits, when rubber hits the road, you're like really faced with these, challenges. And I think I remember going to one of my supervisors and talking to them, and there's this, I didn't come to him directly with this is what I'm facing, but trying to pick his mind, trying to understand how best to navigate what was going on. And man, from the way he explained, it's like your performance hinges on it. You know what I mean? It's like so it was. And yet, at that time, we were going through a serious, rigorous training process to actually confirm the position of that job. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? Yeah. And I remember for one of the night shifts I went on, I remember getting a serious lecture from one of the people I was with. And like, this is how things are done.
They're done here.
Like, we expect this is at the end of the day. Like, please get serious.
Organize yourself.
Organize your life. So it was very challenging. Yeah. And so I honestly became depressed. I won't lie. Like I said, getting depressed. I said, distancing myself from Amanda, I think at the time, like I was really stressed. Yeah. Until finally, like after 6 months into it, I lost my job. Yeah. I didn't meet the requirements. Yeah. And not because I didn't perform, but I didn't hand in my reports in time. I was so stressed that by the time I ended up, it was too late. There was a time deadline. I didn't fulfill the deadlines. And they're like, thank you very much. Try again.
Yeah.
I was like, no, please, I'm not trying again. And so at that point, I now went into a deeper depression, like a proper deep depression. And with this depression, I think out of frustration, of course, came, I think to ease my mind, I started drinking, which was not something like I did, And then with the drinking, of course, came late nights, came partying, and meanwhile, Amanda is at home. I did mention this. Amanda is at home and she's pregnant. We had a honeymoon, baby, right? Unexpected. So we're already dealing with that of like, oh my goodness, we're going to be parents, and yet we had not necessarily planned for that. We had thought of the whole 2 years, wait 2 years, and then begin the family thing. So there was that. So I think in my mind was like, okay, there's this baby coming. I've lost my job, and so like all these things going through my mind, and I just collapsed under the pressure, and. So that happened, went through that. Of course, we were not in good terms. She was not happy. I was not happy. And I think for me, my main problem was that I felt like I had misled her. You know what I mean? I felt like this was my plan. My plan was that we're going to start this thing. The job boy is thinking, what life is going to wear, everything is going to fit in together. So I felt like okay, what is this? We have come into this new situation. And I am completely, it's out of my hands completely. Yeah. And that, of course, at that time, of course, I was thinking about applying for jobs, but my mind was not in that state at all. And so I think I drowned myself in just the depression and just, being around, partying and all, like just now as, So, I think I'll let Amanda pick up from this point.
Amanda, how was that for you? For you, what was going through your mind?
In my mind.
As everything was happening.
I said, what is this? What are we doing? I remember telling God, hey, you mean you brought me here to suffer? Like your plan for me was to come and suffer. Because that's what it felt like. And it's just the start of the marriage. I'm going through the most with this pregnancy. Also it being unexpected. Please, I'm a doctor, don't judge me. I had secured everything. So when I say unexpected,
unexpected.
God humbled me, yes. So it was really unexpected. And then having to transition to the acceptance that this has happened, going through the body changes that are happening, bearing the weight of just being pregnant for the first time. And then my husband also being not in the space to really support me the way that I thought he should. Yeah, it was quite tough. It was quite tough, yeah. So I would say it was one of the most difficult times of our marriage. Unexpected happenings of our marriage. I had never seen him like that, so it was much.
You know, when we say in sickness and health, for better, for worse, sometimes we'll be thinking, for worse will come like, okay, 10 years, for worse later. In the thing immediately, for what is happening.
Depend immediately.
Depend immediately. And so what kept you going, and how did you just overcome that? What was going on?
I think personally, honestly, I really wanted to give up. Like because I just felt like, no, this is not going to work out. I'm making her suffer for nothing. And I remember one of those, I don't know whether I was sober. I don't know what. If you want this thing to end, I don't blame you. Like, feel free. The house is yours. Here, just you know, don't feel like you have to leave. Me, I'll be down to pack up. I'll dust and I'll go. You know, and I remember saying I'll be very okay with it. Because I was so discouraged. And I also thought that now with this, I'm not really helping her at all. Like I'm bringing her more stress. She was pregnant. I felt like, you know what? This is not what I intended. I apologize. I remember apologizing and being like, you know what? If you want to leave, it is okay. I would completely understand you. And so that was one of our lowest points at that point. But I think what kept us going really was the fact that Amanda was really, really, for lack of a better, really gracious. For some reason. I think she kept being around. Of course, there were times where, man, you could see it had really reached her here also. I remember there was a night where she disappeared. And she actually followed them with my tradition and everything. And I remember being worried. Her phones were off and everything. And I was asking, okay, all right, I think I should get ready for things. But she came back, and I kept thinking to myself, what kind of strength does she have, like in this life? And when I saw that in her, like I remember thinking, okay, you know what? Let me keep, because my desire was to get better, but I was in such a depressed state that it was not a quick fix. It was, I think there were moments when I would, like as if I'm sobering up, then the next moment, like I fall back in. So it was not as straightforward kind of thing. But what gave me hope was, I think each time, and even sometimes Bambi should actually just speak words of life to me. She'd be like, you know what, like, you're going to be fine. This is going to be okay. And I would look at her and I'd be like, because at that time, of course, I was not on that Jesus plan. I was like, first of all, Jesus is a fox.
He has left me.
Like, like this, that I felt like that was, this is not how I expected it. As in, like, me and Jesus had this conversation. It was supposed to be a thing. Like, what's up, And of course, also I was not thinking clearly, to be honest. So, what kept us is, I won't lie, is she held the fort. She really, really did.
Amanda, please, we want to understand for you, as you're in the house, things have changed. Like, what's going on? What are you thinking? Are you thinking like, you know what, this is it? I've tried. Like,
all questions that you have in your head, I probably had at that time. I think, God, what is this? What is going on? But I also kept remembering that, and I told him one of those days when he told me, by the way, it's okay, you can leave. I told him, by the way, you're not the one who brought me here. I told him, God is the one who brought me here. And when he tells me to go, I will go.
And I was thinking, cuckoo.
And I honestly was waiting for rock bottom. I said, there comes a time when you hit bottom, and when bottom comes, so I was waiting for things to explode. I said, let me let it run its course, and then hit bottom, and then we'll go out. But in the meantime, I was having those conversations with God, and really praying and pouring out my heart to him. And yeah, it was really a walk, a journey. And I think that that's one of the things about marriage. It can be very lonely when you're going through a tough time. But so if you don't have God, you don't have anyone, because you can't really tell his parents, because it's just not the right avenue. You can't tell yours. It's just not the right one, so to have, and then your friends also, it's a bit how, because it might be much for them as well. And then you don't want them also to come for him. So because it was not his fault that he was depressed. So it was really one of those things that I would always take to God, and also wait out the process. I said, we're going to wait it out. When it reaches the point of now break, we break. But until if it has not yet reached there, let's stick it out and wait and see where this goes, honestly. And I will say it was God that actually kept me there. But also on the flip end, I felt like God was dealing with me as well. Also, because if you're a Christian, many times you have these great expectations of people, and even, for example, my husband, I'm like, he has to be this, he has to be this, he has to be this, he has to be this. And without knowing it, you're very critical. You think you're a good person, but you're actually very critical when it comes to your spouse. You don't give them as much grace as you give other people. Other people, Lisa will do something, I say, Lisa, that's fine. And then my husband will say the very same thing, will do the same thing, and I will come guns. So I felt like it was one of the things that God wanted to deal with me, and to show me that, when I say that I have forgiven you much, I do expect that you do the same for your spouse. When I say, when you receive my grace, I do expect that you should extend the same to your spouse. Now you see yourself. Do you see yourself? You are judging him. But you see, I've extended grace to you. So it was one of those, you think it's for him and you want to say, please sort yourself. But the truth is that God is also saying, please, this is about you. And I think that's one of the things that marriage does to you.
It takes you to who you truly are.
And then you have to sort of deal with who you truly are and then come back. Especially a godly centered marriage.
When you go back to the vows also, and they say the two shall become one, and sometimes some people may think one is now, immediately say one, now you've become. You're thinking together, you're in line, you know that if anything happens, Edgar will come and openly share and what. And yet we forget that sometimes it's a process. So when you think about on your journey, that oneness of growing together as one, how has it been? And what is oneness even? Like when we say you've become one, and how is that?
I think for me, oneness is a journey, as you said. It's a journey. Actually, the moment you say your vows, you have started the journey of walking towards oneness. And I will say that it's a work in progress, and it's something you must work at. If you don't work at it, it will not happen. And you asked what I think it is. I think for me, the analogy that came to my mind is like a 3-legged race. That sports thing where you tie 2 legs, and then there are these 3 legs, and then you each have to figure out a way of winning this competition by running together. If one of you runs too fast, you will fall. I'll tell you, if also you're too slow, you'll cause the team, like you sort of have to find a rhythm and a way to work together for you to win. And that actually you can't reach the end without your person. That's it. You're disqualified, So just finding the way of moving together, I think that's what marriage and oneness looks like. And I think that oneness, I think that even before you start, when you're dating, there are red flags that would guide you. For example, do you share the same faith? People play with that thing. They think it's simple. But when you now get into the marriage, for example, one of the reasons I believe that has held us during our marriage is that we're both submitted to God. Granted, we had seasons where, for example, he was saying, God, but we're answerable to him. And so at the end of the day, because we're answerable to him, we're able to submit to one another because we have the other authority. But when one of you is not, and then one of you is, how can two work together? And that's what the Bible says. And so I think that there are things that show you already when you're dating that because already we are not one in this regard. And sometimes when you're dating, it seems like a simple thing. But when you're thrown into the marriage, then it comes at you. It comes at you, and you have to face the fact that, already we were on a wobbly ground, and now we've gotten into it. So yes, I think it's a journey. And I think it's oneness in thought, oneness in purpose, oneness in just building a life together, and allowing for the two of you to contribute to that life that you're building. I think that's what oneness is. Yeah, I don't know what Edgar thinks.
Yeah, I think for me, I can only bring it from my experience.
Yeah.
I think looking back, talking on oneness, Ephesians 5:21 talks about how husbands and wives submit yourselves to one another in reverence for God, right? And for me, I think the issue was reverence for God. Yeah, I think I did not have reverence for God, and I had to get back to that journey for myself. Yeah, personally, I think because without God, I knew that I couldn't do it. Yeah, I knew it because I tried it with my own strength. I tried to do it. I tried to will myself out of things. I tried to, and never did work at all. Yeah, there were like 1 or 2, 3 months, then, back into it. So I had to come to that point where I think I wrestled with God of like, okay, God, what's up, And I think with God now dealing with me, me actually having to submit to Him, yeah, it helped now for me to begin to come onto the table and actually now begin to have a proper discussion with Amanda. Yeah. Where now it's not just about, oh, I'm sorry. But actually you're ready. You're like, okay, fine. How do we move on from this? How do we heal from this? How do we move forward? So I think it begins with your relationship with God. Yeah. For the both of you. Yeah. And so because you can't do it without God. At least honestly for my take and from what I've experienced, man, if it were not for God, that when people say but God, as in honestly, I would put it there in my story, but God, because it could have gone in any direction, you know what I mean? So I owe our oneness to God, because on my own,
you can't.
Bad.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really learned that for this to work, this has to work first. Because even when Amanda is saying that she was just telling God, I'm here and I hear, again, you have to have that relationship for that to work. And you may not know that's what kept you there also. You're like, God, Banangi, help me understand this man. I'm not understanding right now what's going on. So that's really key. So practically, on your journey, how did you get back to just becoming more one? What continue bring that oneness together? Because from what you're saying, things were hard. You had hit, the depression and all that. So how practically does a couple come back together? How did you do that?
Well, I think for one, communication cannot be understated. You need to communicate to one another. And for me, I think one of the things, and, I think it's probably wisdom that God gave, was, Edgar was down and he was depressed. I just felt like maybe he just needs a breath of fresh air, So we started doing this thing where I would go on dates. And of course, I had to drag him, let us go, let us leave the house, let us go and sit somewhere, and have conversations. It's something we do even up to now. Usually every Friday we go. But it was those things of, you go out, and of course the first time it was more of, the trees are nice. Oh, the table is nice. Look at that person there.
The service is terrible.
It was so nice. Cold and the food is hot. Wow, It starts from those surface conversations. But eventually, you start to really now talk about what's bothering you, and you say, what's up, what's going on. And then he started to pour out his heart, and then I started to understand him as well, and understand where he was at, understand his pains, which I think I did not understand at the beginning of the marriage. Because, for me, you say, hey, moral issues, we know what to do. This is the upright way, this is the wrong way, but then I forgot that there's emotions involved, there's, the battle of the mind happening, and that is what I started to understand, that it's not easy. It's not an easy thing, and to understand where he was at, and why he was where he was. And in so doing, I was starting to get to know him even more. I think that one of the ways to become one is to create opportunities to talk to one another. Because you see, as human beings, I could assume. All this time, I could have assumed everything about him. He is this, he is this. In fact, the reason why he's doing this is because I'm having a conversation with myself about him. And women's minds. They go, Soweto, they come back, so just talking to him allowed me to see him and to hear him and to know, okay, this is what he's going through. Oh, this is how he sees this, And it's something that has happened over time, that now when I hear him, I understand where he's at, even regarding decisions. One of the things is that he's a bit introverted in a way, and I'm so happy, go lucky, let's go. It's there, proggy, let's go for it. And I remember in the beginning of our marriage, I'd have this thing of, this Saturday we are going here. And then he would say, no, I'm not going. And I would say, no, don't worry, we are going. I go saying, no, we're not going.
Wow.
That's how I used to listen. I used to listen and think, hey, that's what you said. Okay,
but this is what?
Yeah, but over time now I started to realize that, hey, I really need to listen to what he's saying. And he means it. He would actually allow me to say, hey, we are going. Then Saturday comes, then we don't go. Or he doesn't go. Then I'm so angry. Then he says, but I told you. Yes, that's something I had to learn, that actually, when he says what he says, he means what he's saying. And I need to believe that he's saying. So somehow openness and vulnerability and talking to one another, you get to know each other and to believe each other. When he says this, he means it. And Edgar is a very honest person. He says what he wants to say. So when he says it, it's what he's saying, and I found that creates openness, because then I don't assume. I don't decide for you. I don't pretend I know you. I actually listen to you. And over time, you start to see the decisions, how he thinks, what he likes, what has his interests, what are his passions, what is he sad about. And somehow you start to work with him together because you understand him better. So I would say communication is really one of those things that must be sort of worked on if you should grow in openness.
I think for me, because it was really down to, I needed to get help. I needed help. And I think they came to a point where I had to start seeing a counselor, to talk through my depression and talk through my issues. And from that point came, okay, I need to get to talk to other men. You know what I mean? So I had to seek out other men to help me out. And that helped a lot, at least to put things in perspective. There was a group of guys, they know themselves, shout out to those guys, who we used to meet at least regularly, there was a book we were doing, and that kind of discipleship helped me to not think about my issues, but to focus more on what does God demand of me and things of that sort. So that helped a lot. And then I think, honestly, I also realized that I had to unlearn certain things that I thought were true, that were not true about God. You know what I mean? Where we come in with these preconceived ideas about who God is, probably what we have heard, doctrine we have received, and things of that sort. I had to unlearn. I had to go through a lot of unlearning. So I had to open that Bible and know God for myself. You know what I mean? And to realize that God doesn't owe you.
Nothing.
You know what I mean? God doesn't owe you. And that was a slap in my face of okay, hold on, Because every time you think, God is, this is for you, this is, and no, please, that is not, not per se. I didn't go that far, but I think there was a whole element of God will fulfill your dreams.
Yes.
Whatever dreams you present to him, God is going to make it, especially if you've served him and all these things, and no, please, so I had to learn to embrace who God was, all his attributes, not just what I thought I wanted him to be for me. But learning that. And so there was a lot of unlearning and relearning, a lot of falling and getting up again. So it has taken a process, at least for me, because I realized that even now I feel like I'm still walking that journey of just discovering who God is. And for me, it has been such an awesome thing. At the same time, it has also been we're wasting a lot of time back in the day. You know what I mean? There's a point of what were we on? You know what I mean? And to realize now that, okay, this is who God is. And there's so much peace that comes with knowing that, if you have your confidence and trust is in God, no matter the situation, everything, your heart is at rest. So I think I had to learn that. So I think I had to do a lot of work on myself. Because I felt like when it came to my relating with Amanda, I felt like it's not like I had an issue with her. I had no issue. In fact, I really, really wanted to make sure that this works. Because I think during our dating, she's my best friend. She was my best friend and everything. So I wanted that to work, And so, so I again, it was really, I had to do a lot of work, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of seeking out people. As she said, I'm an introvert. I don't openly just share with people. I had to struggle through that and actually start talking to people and actually start seeking out people and actually start, and now I think I'm so passionate about men's groups. So like,
Yeah.
where are they? Who's where? Why aren't you in one?
Yeah,
Because I
that's
feel like we can't do life alone,
Yeah.
especially as men. And when it comes to mental health and all these things, like you can't be in your corner. You've got to find strong people, or at least people who you know will not allow you to be a certain way, right?
Yeah.
So for me now, it became something I had to seek out,
Yeah.
and it's an active thing now I do as a lifestyle.
Yeah.
I have to,
Because I've also learned that there is oneness is broad. There is spiritual oneness.
Yes.
Now you're hearing from God. You're working on yourself.
Yeah.
God help me, because you cannot be who you want to be in this marriage if even you don't understand God, what's happening, who am I, you know what's going on, you know. That's spiritual. There's a whole emotional beat about seeing someone. So acknowledging that there is a problem, because many times men don't want to acknowledge. They just want to feel I can do it, you know. And then there's also financial oneness, you know. How was that for you as well? Like, were things going well? Were you working together?
Yeah. Financial oneness. As you have heard from our story, there came a time when, you know, Edgar was out of work and I had work.
Yes.
And you know how it is with guys. Edgar really is very well-meaning, you know, and he wanted to be the one that provides. Yeah, he wanted to provide everything. Everything. I think he's a generous person. So just to think that for his wife is not, you know, being generous, how is that? So it really didn't sit well with him that now I was the one who was up and going to get money, and he did not have money. And for us, it was a struggle. It was a struggle. For him, really, because, you know, I don't know if it's just a woman thing, but I'm just able to exist. For example, if I don't have work, I'm so proud being looked after.
You know?
But I think for guys, it's so much harder. Yeah, so it was really, really hard for him. And I would tell him, by the way, the money is ours. You know, the money I make, it's our money. I'm like, it's here. How are you going to do with it? And then he would say things like, I can't make decisions when I don't bring the money. You know, he just felt like you have no authority to make, you know, when I say, where should we go? You know, what should we do? He's like, you decide, because, you know, and I kept saying, no, I don't think so. I think it's our money. It's our money, you know. And so it was a bit of a journey also transitioning from that. And I think it's an ideology that men have generally, and I want to really demystify it, because the truth is that life happens. Yes. For example, now, there are men who've lost jobs because of the USA funding, and they were the sole breadwinners. So what happens to the family? You know, does it break because now there's no money? And even for the women who think that the man must always be the one to provide, what happens when, for example, something bad happens? God forbid that he should be maybe bedbound. What happens? So I think it's really, as Edgar said, unlearning some of these things. So for financial journey, we've had to unlearn also that whole, a man brings money, then you come, then for you spend it, then when you want this, you ask the man, then the big things you ask the man, then the small things you ask the woman, or you don't ask her at all. You know, it's been one of those journeys. And even currently now I'm between jobs. So now I'm looking to him. And if I use the same approach of his money,
so now you can't decide.
What would I do? I would be incapacitated, you know, because then how would I continue? And I think that's why the Bible says two are better than one, because they receive a good return from their labor. And that's one of the ways. Because if he has money, we have money. If he has 2 million, I have 1. We have 3 million. But if I tell Micah 1 million, I will not do as much as I can with my 3 million. And I think it's something that we've also had to learn, that when we say our vows, all I am, I give to you. All that I have, I share with you. It is everything. My job, our job. It is our job. You know, my children, they are our children. My relatives, they have now become your people. Your people are now my people. When your people are sick, I should be concerned. You know, so it's one of those. Even financially, you know, I think marriage it enters even the money. It should not be that money is the place where now marriage doesn't enter. Then all other things, money enters. I mean, marriage enters. So it's the oneness is even financial.
I think theoretically, right? Especially like when you go with marriage counseling and everything, they tell you the money is yours.
You're like,
you're agreeing with it. Yes, of course. I think in your mind you're thinking that's because it's going to be me, right? Like it's our money, right? In your mind, I don't think it clicks that. Hold on, what if it actually happens? Because you're not thinking that for yourself, right? And I think theoretically, I knew whenever I should say it, I know whenever I should say the money is ours. Theoretically, I knew that to be true, but my heart was not aligning to it. I think I would always make faces, like unintentional. The man is ours. Like, because I had to rest. It was a wrestle in my head. Like, no, it is not. Like, this is your money, and so it was hard for me to immediately grasp onto that. But as she said, through talking and communicating with one another and understanding, and I think to be honest, I think coming to trust your person, that actually they are well-meaning about this, that actually they are sincere about this. I think I had to wonder eventually and be like, okay, you know what? Fine. But it was a fine. It was not fine, but it was more of like, so it was a tussle through. But again, I think, as I was saying, we kept talking. We kept having the conversation. She kept assuring me that this is what it is, and I had to eventually, I think I eventually came around. This is what it is. And either way, the life had to continue. Had to go on, right? So I eventually had to, so it's been one of those things we had to talk about it a lot.
I like that she was reassuring, encouraging, because some women now, they're like, okay, now is the time. Now they want to lead everything and then make the man feel like, now you see you're not doing your part. So I really love that. And it's a call to women as well. Like, these things switch. Like, there is no exact script of how we are going to do this marriage thing. So we need to be open-minded and remember that we're in this thing as a team. So speaking of being a team, how have you practically now walked the journey of saying, you know what, we are going now together, hand in hand, me and you.
I think one of I think she mentioned it before, we had to start communicating. We had to start sitting down and having real meaningful conversations. And that, I think, began to, of course, we were vulnerable with one another. We began to see where we're at, and now we began to align. You know what I mean? So through having those conversations, you're able to, what do we do now? How do we set things in motion going forward? And that helped a lot. So communication is such a really big deal. And I also think praying with one another. I think it's something we really started doing. Said praying with one another. We started doing Bible studies with one another. Sometimes begrudgingly, actually on my part, as you can see, she's a mature one here. and so like but I could honestly attest that, praying with one another, reading the word with one another, planning things together, you know what I mean? Dreaming together, I remember one of the things that happened, like, I think she got in her work, she got an opportunity to travel. And one of the things was, do I remain behind? Do I go with her? And that was also another struggle, because I think for me, I was like, no, that is her thing. Let her go. Me, I'll take care of the kids. When she comes back, we shall fit in all over again. And I think the whole idea was like, no, man, this is a long time, So that also we had to talk through, so learning to talk through that, it was a back and forth, was a struggle there, but still we were getting advice from people, listening to other people. I remember we had to talk to a number of people to kind of get their view on it and to see that it's actually possible. You know what I mean? And we ended up making that jump. And that jump ended up being one of the best experiences of our lives. As a married couple, but even for our children, you know what I mean? So I think, yes, communication, praying with one another, having people you trust, that a community of people, who you talk to, who you're able to throw your ideas at. And so I think you can't do marriage alone. You can't do it alone. You need a community of people, and that really, really was a big help, or is even still a big help up to now.
Amanda, anything you want to add there?
Well, I think you were talking about a practical way, and he mentioned it, having to go abroad together, and the back and forth, deciding should they come.
Was it like a job? What was it?
It was like a hands-on experience. Like it's a work, but it's like a funded time away, fully paid with a stipend that would cater for all of us. But it was me getting a hands-on opportunity, which meant that for a part of his life, he had to give away whatever he was doing, throw it, and just up and live with the children. And please know that this is Bulaya, Europe, where who will take care of your children?
During COVID.
During COVID.
Had to be him.
Yeah, it has to be him, you know. So now also some of those cultural things that we have, you know, where now the man cannot do, he cannot go to the kitchen, the man cannot carry the baby. Life has happened. We're now in Europe. I am at work. Will the children starve? No. Yeah, that's, you know, my husband is there. He was actually homeschooling one of our children while we were there, you know. So I think that sometimes culture also defines us in a way that is anti what God, you know, tells us to do. The Bible says, be considerate with one another. If you let me do everything there, I would die. I'd literally die, you know, and I don't think that that is the nature of love. Love is not rude. It's not unkind, you know. So I think that also that is, you know, the seasons of life throw stuff at you. And God is so kind that he throws these things at you so that you really see where you need to do the work, you know. So it came to a point where we each had to work, because when you're abroad, your life sort of revolves around the children because you don't have help. It's not like here where, you know, their aunties, their sisters, their, you know, people where you can put the children. There it is you and your children. Yeah. Besides even them, they don't give birth because they've decided we will not have this burden. So where are you going to take this, you know? So just seeing how oneness comes into play in there. Yeah, that these are children. How are we going to both have a sort of life? How shall we craft it in a way that it works for us and doesn't become a burden? And that's another time that we had to really, you know, look in the oneness. The opportunity came, and by the grace of God, we took it up, and here we are to tell the story.
And I think oneness is tested in new places. You know what I mean? For instance, when we were there, we had already worked out how we were living here in Uganda. Now, having to embrace that situation where we were was a whole other dynamic. And of course, in the beginning, there was friction, a lot of friction of, you know, this, that you need to do this, you need to get up early. I was like, man, it's so cold. and so learning again now to, as if relearn how to live in that moment. And then still, the principles still apply. You have to sit down. Okay. What are we going to do? How are we doing this? We need to maybe pray more about this. We need to, you know, so it was something that, again, I think with every moment in life, life never changes the same. Every season of life presents new challenges, and those new challenges test your oneness. And so when your oneness is tested, what are you going to buckle up and be like, okay, do you know what? Chisuse, you know what I mean? Or are you going to, you know, actually remember that, okay, this is what we need to do to bring us back to this situation of oneness. And I guess that it's one thing to always remember that your oneness, I don't know if you can ever achieve oneness, like perfect oneness. There are always going to be seasons of life that are going to test your oneness. And so, but then remember the principles that, you know, number one, we love each other. Number two, for this, it's not just love alone, because there are times where it's work. We're going to have to communicate. We're going to have to plan together. We're going to have to sit together, tussle through things. You know, I'm not a confrontational person. She's not a confrontational person. So trust me, sometimes sitting together and having to talk takes effort. Because I think from one person, once I see there's a problem,
you run.
I'm out of the house. Like I'm not one of those people. No. Like once I see that, okay, this is not working, I usually either will get to my phone or, you know what I mean? Like, So it's work. It's work.
Yeah. And, you know, with oneness, I'm feeling like, and now to be one, there's certain things you have to break. Now, pride for him, for example, has to be slashed because now I'm going to follow her. Now, how does it make me look? Am I even me, I have my how people are going to see, you know, and it just shows you that every marriage has a different script. Like everyone is going to take a different path. You know, everyone has their story they're going to follow. So you can't say, but other men, God, they did it. How come? You know, it has to be you in this situation as a team. Where are we going together? You know, and I really love that it's us. Regardless. So that's really
I like that you mentioned pride, because to be honest, I think I had a really big pride problem that I did not realize before I got married. I always thought I was a humble person, right? Like for some funny reason, I thought I was a very humble, very understanding person until I got married. And that impurity of pride was really shown in my face whether I was devaluing myself, you know, there's that pride where you're not pompous, but you're, me, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not, you know, like there's also that. And so having to wrestle with that, and then also wrestle with the fact that, hold on, this is her thing. Let her go. Like, how will people see it? What, you know? And yeah, so it's pride. I think I think most men, I don't want to generalize, but it's pride can be such a killer of oneness, because you want things to be your way, or you want to see things your way. You're not ready to have a different alternate view of what life would be if we made this decision where I lay myself down and allow for this to happen. So that's sacrifice, and sometimes pride doesn't allow you to take that sacrifice or that leap.
Affect your parenting in any way, or your intimacy in any way? How was that?
Most definitely. I think, you know, regarding parenting, I think generally the children are safer when you're one. The security they feel when you're one. And then, you know, these things of where you say, one, if you're not talking, and then you say things like, go and tell daddy this.
Yeah.
You could tell daddy yourself. Why are you sending your child? You know, or daddy comes with bigger presents because he's trying to make up and show that he's the cooler parent. And those things happen when you're not one. You know, you start to, and then your children start to manipulate you because they know that if I do this, or if I say this about mom, then I'll get this from dad. You know, that sort of thing. And I think that is not the nature of parenting that God intended. He intended that every child has a mother and father, and their attributes about each one of us that we can bring to the table. You know, for example, I know he's such a fun parent. I am not a fun parent. I'm a parent of, what are you going to eat today? Have you done your homework? Are you going to bed? What time is it? Like, I don't think, the other day I had someone talk, he says I'm very funny. So someone asked my daughter, is your father funny? Oh my God, so funny. Then they asked, is your mother funny? Never, ever. You know, so I know, mom is so busy in the, please correct yourself, sit properly, you know, sort of thing. So you see, if they had only me, oh my God, what a miserable life. You know, it's really about protocol, you know, as opposed to the daddy life where, you know, all that proggy, then he shows them, you know, a Discovery Channel, and then they talk about sharks. I'm like, please, in that time we are cooking, you know. So just the idea that even in parenting, your oneness helps the children. It actually gives them a holistic experience, you know. But if you are, first of all, psychologically, they will be affected. They will not grow well, But also, for you, the two of you, it is so much easier to parent those children. Discipline, oneness in discipline. If I'm beating, and then Papa says, no, you stop. Don't do it. You know, or he's beating, I'm like, it's too much. What are you saying to the children? You know, so there's the whole, there is no aspect of marriage where oneness isn't coming. So even in parenting, it has to be there. It has to be there. You have it really, and even for the children, there's nothing as fulfilling as knowing that mommy and daddy are on the same page. You know, sometimes it's tough. Actually, some will tell you, we're talking to an older couple who said, that one, mommy, the moment tell us something, you just know daddy knows it. You know, because they know they can't break that bridge. You know, and it seems like a funny thing, but eventually they will love it. It gives them so much security. And I think that so many children right now are broken just because of the fact that the oneness in the home was not, it was brokenness, you know, in the oneness. And so now they struggle with some of those issues.
I think personally, I grew up in a single parent household. So I think I always had that dream of, man, once we get kids, this is how it's going to be done. So I always had, for instance, I never wanted my kids to grow up in a single parent household. You know, I wanted to be a present father, their mother to be around. So I think for me, it was always something like me growing up in a place where oneness was not necessarily shown to me. Coming into the marriage was something we were really intentional about. And so even in spite of, I think, even what we're going through, I feel like with the kids, we always try to be on the same page. Or at least we try to show them that, hey, this is what we are doing. Mommy and daddy are on the same page about this. There is no hanky-panky around it. And I think it became even more intentional when we were now without relatives and things, where now it's just us and you have to handle the kids. And this is a place where I remember there was no beating. If you're caught disciplining a child, there are threats of jail. And
child away.
You know, like social services.
When they hear,
let me tell you. Yeah, so I remember there's a time where we had to take one of the kids to the bedroom and close the door and because she had done something outrageous and we couldn't let it go. So like, you know, and so it's something, again, you know, you can't do it alone. Like children can't see a crack in that. And I feel like children grow up better centered, more centered when they know that, okay, mommy and daddy are one. Yeah. So I think for me, I can only say it's one area in our marriage where from get-go, we were very intentional about it.
This is the way I'll say it. I think intimacy is the icing on the cake for a good communication journey. So if there's a break in communication, in any way, physical, emotional, spiritual, it will affect intimacy. Yeah, in the sense that you will not have a good experience, or you will have an average experience, depending on how together you are. You know, I think the Bible says that's why a father and mother will leave a man will leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. And people look at it as physical, you know. That's why they're getting married, you know. But I think that one flesh is everything about your human nature. You know, when it becomes one, then even the flesh, if you came to the physical, it is a testament to whatever is happening. When there is ruckus in any of those dockets, even your intimacy will be affected. And I will tell you, it was affected, even for us. You know, it was those things of, this gotta happen. But, you know, it could be better. But because even, for example, women, we are so...
From the mind.
In the mind, it's so emotional. So imagine being so cluttered in your emotions. Definitely, your intimacy will not be where you want it to be. And then the reverse is true. When you're settled everywhere, then you can actually be present and have such a wonderful, you know, intimate life as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think for me, like, I think honesty is something that's very important. I think coming into the marriage, I felt like, of course, I was excited. You know, hey, we get to do this thing that we have been waiting for all this time. And I feel like when you have little foxes in your life, that you have not yet disclosed or let your partner know, I feel like they come back to haunt you. Because I honestly, I didn't think I had per se an addiction, but I think I used to look at graphic material, right? And especially when I was dealing, if I was dealing with any stress and everything, that was my go-to. And so I don't think it's something I openly told Amanda because it was not an everyday thing. It was one of those things that would happen when I'm stressed. You get it? So it's not something I really disclosed. But I think when it came into the marriage and with now the stress in full swing, it became such an issue. It became such an issue. So intimacy was, I think for me, like it was a struggle. So of learning to now, okay, it's not to be honest, and number two, to actually now connect on that level. So I think, yes, learning to communicate with each other and learning to emotionally connect spiritually, and I think mostly spiritually. There's something about us praying together that really began to
break the ice and
unfold the flower, right? Before then, it was more like, it's something we must do. They told us we must do it. You know,
past how many days?
I remember she was pregnant. Like this was her first pregnancy. She's not in the mood. Then for me, like so it was such. I felt like it was such. It was work. You know what I mean? I felt like it was work. And sometimes I was like, you know what? Just relax. Either way, I'm going out anyway. That attitude, that really weak attitude. So I think it eventually talking and praying about it. That's when the intimacy began to get better. And she's a very emotional person. So you need to make sure that, okay, emotionally she's in the right place, spiritually she's in the right place, she's confident, and I think it's every woman, right? I wouldn't want to just, I think every woman just needs that assurance that I can trust you in this. There's trust, there is openness, there is we are actually relating on the same page. And if a woman has doubts about that, most likely your intimacy is going to be what? Affected. Yeah. So, yeah, that is.
Yeah. And all through the journey, you've talked about, community, people and stuff like that. How can we emphasize it even more? Because there are people out there who think, you know what? First, we are kawa, we do our thing. We're not judging anyone. Our judge, like in the beginning, you were like, I don't want to tell friends, I don't, how has it really been helpful for both of you, and how do you practically ensure that we're not doing life alone?
Yeah. I think for me, I need to emphasize that it must be the right community, because also one of your roles as a spouse is to protect your spouse. The Bible says, do not give your pearls to swine. There's actually swine that can receive your pearls. Don't go around, talking about your marriage to everybody and anybody, because the truth is that some people, for them, it's just conversational. It's information they will use to conversate about you. It's not really, it's not really to, it's not because they love you. You need to find the right community of people who are interested in the well-being of your marriage, not the ones who will, say all these bad things about your spouse and say, I knew, by the way, he has this. Actually, that is not a good person for your marriage. They might be good for banter, but they're not good for your marriage. So finding the right community with the right values, For example, if my husband was going, wherever, for example, in a bar, and he's meeting people, their ideologies are very different. So should he bring them to the marriage, which is Christian, we shall struggle. So I think that the community has to be correct. It has to be the right community. But it can actually be the difference between a good and bad marriage, and even you staying and you separating. I remember I told you one of the nights when I felt like, please, friend, I'm not going to live this life. This is not my life.
I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for this. Where I packed my bags. And I went and I said, I'm not going to put on my phone. I will not allow him to call me, because right now I need to just be by myself. I actually ran to our community, people who I know they love us. They're invested in our marriage. And I said, I've come to crash. I need space, and already they knew what was happening. So I stayed there for the night. And I eventually, when I told him where I was, I saw the sigh of relief. Like he went to good people, because he knew that they're safe. It's safe space for us, and he didn't feel, oh my gosh, So I think it's very important to choose very carefully, even in prayer. He told you one of the things was that he was introverted and didn't find it easy to talk to people. I think it's also because he didn't have a father growing up. So I feel like his relationship with men, older men, younger men, and he's he's the only boy. I think that was a bit of a tough space for him, and it's one of the things that I saw that would be a bit of a problem, because I have my girls. I'm like, please, and we talk about it and we laugh, and then I come and I'm fine, but he didn't have that outlet. And it's one of those struggles which I felt I needed to pray about seriously. And I told God, your son, he needs friends. He needs very good friends. He needs people that love him. And 9 years later, I can tell you there are people who root for this guy. And he has people who are his people. It's their gango. How guys talk. And so it's really, really important. And even when I had issues, I knew, I need a gango to call. I said, great, come, help your brother. He has issues. And because I would say things and he's like, blah, 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 blah. Then the gango comes and says the very same thing, goes like, then
listen to me.
That's what I need to do, And then I've been saying it for like 6 months. And his friend has said it in one sitting. I was like, I was talking to my friend and he said that. I'm like,
really?
Anyways, so I think it's really, really important. It's the difference between, it can actually make or break your marriage. When he was misbehaving, when I say misbehaving, I mean when he was not talking, and I was like, please, I reported him to a group of our friends. I said, he's not even talking to me. Like, I don't know who his friend is, because I'm not his friend. I think I complained and poured out to them. And they just took him aside and said, brother, please, you're not representing us well. They had a conversation. And then they kept checking in and what. And I could see Bobby improved. And it was because of that community that we had. So it's really, really important that you don't die alone. And I'm very passionate about this for even women. I feel like, don't be alone, you will die. I hear stories of women who are being battered. I'm like, you're alone. You need to tell somebody, because then how will you be saved? How will you be, rescued? So I think it's very, very important. The Bible says 2 are better than 1. Again, because when one is down, the other may lift them up. And you can say it in terms of me and him, because we lift each other up, but also as a marriage, we are better with another, for example, community. Because when we are down, another couple will come and say, guys, you can do this, you can get up, you can get up, you know. And the Bible says, woe to that one that walks alone. When they are down, who will pick them up? And it happens. Some people, you hear that they're broken up, and you feel like, you should have said something. What's the problem you had? Eh? We had it, you know, and it's solvable, and it's not called irreconcilable differences. That can be reconciled, you know, and it's too far gone, you know, and then now it's just they're dealing with issues and it's just broken. But you're thinking, if you had community, you would know that that is not a problem. You would know that that can be sorted. Yeah, we actually in one, and we said we'd talk about them, and shouts out to the underbatties who gave us, you know, when they were being cancelled, their counselor told them about the 5 cockroaches of intimacy, which intimacy is oneness, you know, and now we use what they said, and we learned that within community, you get, so we know that, okay, there are 5 cockroaches that can affect our intimacy, that can affect our oneness. On our own, where would we have got the 5 cockroaches?
Please tell us more about
the 5 cockroaches.
Please, we want
the 5 cockroaches of faith,
insecticide.
faith, children, finances, sex, and what was the other one?
Come again. You said
faith, finances, children, sex, quality time. There's also friends and family. Relatives, friends and family. Yeah, they're somewhere there. Yes. Okay. Yeah, things that can actually affect, they can either make or break your intimacy, which is really oneness, which is what we are saying.
Wow.
Yeah. Things that you learn, tips that you learn from community. Yeah, which work for your marriage.
Amazing.
And then I think sometimes you realize that you're not alone. When you hear people's stories, you realize, hold on, what? You mean like you're also, so you realize that, hold on, you're not, there are people who have gone through what you've gone through, and they've come out strong. Yeah. And so hearing their testimony, being strengthened by them. So never think that you're alone. Never think that this is my story, I'm dying in my thing alone. There are actually people who have gone through what you've gone through, even worse, and have come out strong out of it. Yeah. So I think community helps with, you know, that the testimony of believers. Yeah. That we shall overcome by the word of our mouth and the blood by the word of our testimony and the blood of the Lamb. Right. So it's paramount to know that you're not alone. You're never alone. Yeah. There are people who are going through the very same issues, and they have actually overcome, and they've come out the other side. And they'll have the medicine you need for your particular sickness. Yeah. So it's And I think personally I found okay. Yeah. As in, you listen to some couples and you'll be like, I remember there's a couple we visited who, a very respectable guy, right? And I remember I was sitting down with them, and you would never think. And then he told us a story about their marriage. You mean, you know, and he opens up and you think, okay, all right. So, you know, these things happen, but how did they overcome, you know? And so
that's amazing. And I like what you say when, you know, she's an introvert, then her friends, and then you prayed. You know, sometimes we look at, prayer, give me another solution. But my friend, that prayer, you tell God that, please just bring the right people around. God can do it. I really love it.
I tried to force him to be close to someone. I pushed him, I said,
that's the one.
This is a very nice guy. Then I introduced, I said, this is my husband. You know, with the hope that somehow I can fix this problem of not having these really close, good friends. It didn't work. It really did not work, you know. And I think that concerning issues that run so deep, the heart, there's only God who can touch them. It's only God who can fix that one. And if it's that issue, if you see that it's the heart of your person in your marriage, you need to pray. Only God will sort it. And he did.
Wow. Thank the Lord. He never fails. All right. So I'm sure there are couples out there who are watching this story. Maybe they are feeling discouraged in the season they are in. You know, what final things would you like to tell them? Or even those who are just in marriage in general, because sometimes we feel some things are far from us. You know, so what final things would you have to say to them?
Well, for me, I'd like to say that, again, you make the decision. The same way you decided to marry this person, you actually decide to stay with them. It's a decision. It's as good as a decision. You can actually decide slowly to walk out without knowing. You've decided in your head.
Yes.
Yeah. Or you can decide to stay. And then once you've made that decision, you do the work towards whatever it is. As with all things, really, if you have a goal, you need to work at it. And even oneness is not a thing that comes rocket science. We are compatible. What is that even? You know, because as you know, life seasons come and they test you because you've never been in these things. For example, I had never been pregnant. He had never been out of work. You know, there are so many things that could happen. They are first times, you know. And so you make the decision, this thing has come at us. What are we going to do? Are we going to stay together? Or are we going to choose to break this thing? And with whatever steps you take, you're taking towards breaking or towards staying together. So you have to really make the right decision. Am I deciding to stay? And the moment you decide to stay, there is hope. There's no situation that is too far gone, you know, that the Lord cannot fix. The moment you say, God, I'm here, I've decided to stay, help me. He will help you. But you have to make the decision. You have to decide. And the moment you also decide, I'm out of here.
That's it.
You're out. And this thing of keeping, you know, throwing the divorce line at your spouse, it's not a good idea. You know, every time you say something, me, I'll go, me, I'll leave you. Yeah, you know, that sort of environment of no security, no grace.
At this point,
it's such a bad way. You know, and the Bible says that that love believes all things, hopes all things, trusts. It never fails. It perseveres. You know, the nature of love is the kind that it works. It keeps working and hoping and believing and trusting, you know. And so if you say you love your spouse, this is what you're actually saying. You're saying, I'm going to love, I'm going to protect, I'm going to persevere, I'm going to trust, and we will not fail if this love thing, this is God's love, if it continues. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Wow, thank you.
I think for me, I'll say it takes two to tango. Yeah. If I think if you are not receptive to working on yourself or on each other, you will never be able to meet minds. Yeah. So I think for me, the advice would be that have grace for one another. Yeah. Have grace for one another and be willing now to work on each other. Not necessarily accepting the other person's faults and allowing them to be however they want, because that's bad manners. You know, sometimes some bad manners can't be accepted, but it's more of, are you willing to make that change? Like personally, when you self-reflect, you see that, okay, you know what? On my own account, I really need change. You know what I mean? And so work on you such when you are now together, you're able to. Yeah, because I think for me personally, I've seen that when I sought out God, when I personally worked on myself, when I didn't harden myself to the situation and be like, you know what? This thing has failed, I'm out. Yeah. When I actually allowed God to speak into the situation, allowed God to breathe into my life again, I felt like it breathed new life now to us, you know? And so I would advise that the two of you need to be of one mind.
Yeah.
At least you need to come to that point of where, okay, do you know what? Recognize that we have an issue, and then how do we come out of it? Yeah. And do you mind if I read a scripture?
Please,
yeah.
Please.
I think I was Hosea chapter 6 verse 1 says, "Come, let us return to the Lord. He has torn us to pieces." Yeah. And sometimes it can feel like that in your marriage, where it feels like, man, things are being torn to pieces. Things are not working out financially. Intimacy. Well, the man is this side, the woman is this side. We are throwing shoes, and you know, like it's proper in pieces, right? But he says that, but he will heal us. Yeah, he will heal us, and he has injured us, but he will bind up our wounds. Yeah, and there's that assurance of knowing that once we turn to God, he will make the difference. He will heal you. He will bring you back together. And if you make him that cord between those three strands, that strand is much stronger. So having God at the center of your marriage, having God at the center of it all, it sounds cliche, but it is the honest truth. Take it from us, right? Having God in the center of it all makes all the difference. Those are my partations.
Amazing. Thank you guys for sharing so vulnerably. I appreciate you. I know many people are going to be impacted with this. Guys, I hope you've learned something, because I personally have. Please let us know in the comment section. Engage with us. You know what has been your take home. We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to like the video so that it can reach as many married people as possible, so they can also benefit from it. My name is Lisa Kusima, and as always, I'm here to inspire.